If you told the 20-year-old Cole that one day I'd be able to sit in boardrooms and negotiate seven-figure deals with confidence and with a warmth in my heart, I would have told you not a chance, because at that stage of my life, I had so many inner obstacles about money in general, never mind about charging properly as a coach and a consultant and as a teacher, facilitator, that I couldn't even get the words out of my mouth easily on the phone to potential clients. So if you suspect that you might have inner obstacles like I had and might not be charging your full worth as a coach, a consultant, a facilitator, then I'm going to offer you the 3 things that really made a massive difference for me and helped me to become comfortable with abundance. Number 1 is that I really had to face the fact that I had what I call inner obstacles, and to realize that our inner obstacles can be bigger than our outer obstacles. I always used to blame the external world of the environment and the economy, instead of realizing actually the inner obstacles were the true obstacles. The 4 insights that profoundly healed my inner obstacles, allowing me to really step into an abundant coaching business, were: number 1, learning to call the rain and reframing money, which we'll unpack in a moment. Number 2, getting equal to what I call the valley and the summit. And I know that's going to sound intriguing, but we'll unpack it for you in a moment. Number 3 is learning to actually price my coaching products with a combination of intellect and intuition. And number 4, handing back burdens to my family's bloodline, financial burdens that I was carrying. There was a particular December. I'd had a great year in terms of numbers. I'd been training between 60 and 120 people per week. I had booked out coaching sessions. I benefited from attracting a lot of television exposure, being invited to be an expert guest. There was a documentary feature for television made about my life story. I was speaking on stages, being invited to speak around the world. And all of that was working, except that December I still couldn't afford to buy my kids Christmas presents, was still having sleepless nights about paying the bills and keeping my overheads in check, and cash flow was a mess. And I know it's probably going to sound shocking, but I realized, because of what people told me and because of just shockingly realizing it, that my rejection of the material was not doing me any favors. There was a kind of polarizing between purpose and profit, and I had pushed money away because I really believed that following my purpose was enough, and I had all this success in terms of impact and living my purpose, but I still couldn't keep the cash flow thing going. I was coaching myself. I tuned in to my inner wisdom. I call it sending the bucket into the inner wisdom well. And I was asking for, should I, get more money somehow? What must I do to find more income? And the insight that blew me away was simply that if your bucket has holes in it, it's no good putting more water in it. And that I had bucket holes. I had holes in my bucket because I hadn't healed my inner relationship with money. And so in the pursuit of that, the insight that really helped was, if my apple tree is my purpose, if the apple tree is a symbol for our true and natural selves, yes, my life changed when I found that and freed it and realized that my purpose wasn't something that I was supposed to do, but that it was who I am, and then step in and own that. It helped me heal crippling shyness, and it really enabled me to take that role, to coach, to lead, to guide, to facilitate. And that was going so well that I had the numbers, but I hadn't healed the next piece, which wisdom told me rain and money, you could swap them out. You could think of money as rain. And what I was shown is that I was like an apple tree saying to the rain cloud, no, don't worry, you don't have to rain on me. Go find someone else to rain on because I'm spiritual or because I'm living my purpose. And I was also shown that this was an arrogance. This was spiritual arrogance. I used to judge the guy down the street who had a big billboard on his front yard saying tax services and da-da-da-da. And I used to think, oh, how materialistic is that man? And I was shown that I was arrogant, thinking that by living my purpose and freeing my apple tree, that was enough. So for about 6 months, I had to reprogram some of my belief systems around money. And what really helped was to think of money as rain for my apple tree. Every day in the shower, I would say, I'm calling the rain. When I paid people, I would say, I'm giving them rain. When I charged, I would say, I'm earning rain. And that started to make a profound difference. The second thing that really helped after calling money rain and starting to appreciate that it was rain for my apple tree was to realize that there was a summit of financial reality, wealth, and that there was a valley of financial reality, let's say poverty, and that my family were literally just slightly above that valley mark. And I'd grown up with a lot of belief systems around that, including a hidden loyalty. And over the years working with clients, I've realized that many of us have a hidden loyalty to the position of birth that we had on that valley and summit curve. If we were born into wealth, there's a loyalty to that reality. If we were born into poverty, we could even be loyal to our family. And the unspoken rule can be that if you change your financial status, you lose your sense of belonging. You no longer are one of us. I was raised in a small town, a conservative town, where everybody had humble lives. My family were beautiful, amazing, humble people, still are. But there was this undercurrent of people with wealth are snobs. And I actually realized you can be a snob in the valley too. You can judge people that are higher up on that mountain. And so my job was to learn to be equal to all states of the mountain, to be able to walk in the valley on the curve and stand out at any point and know that my bank balance was not equal to my dignity or my worth as a being. And this was a huge thing to overcome, is to actually realize that I needed to collapse these judgments and also be brave enough to challenge the threat of losing my place in my family structure and my sense of loyalty, betraying that by actually changing financial realities. But that was a huge win and a huge sense of freedom to realize that I am not here, or here, that I'm free to walk the whole mountain and be equal to anyone, anywhere on that curve. What I also started doing was combining intellect and intuition. And what I mean by that is intellectually looking at what people could actually charge, were charging, and getting an actual monetary value, and establishing what was the lowest and the highest for a service, for an hour of my time. And Once I found that, then I would feel in my body intuitively how comfortable I was with charging the higher amount, charging the lower amount. And what usually worked for me was to find a sweet spot that wasn't in the middle, but that would stretch me towards the highest amount, but not feel unethically too expensive, and neither charge the lowest amount. So I would research what, the average person would charge at the lowest, the highest, feel in my body, get a sense of what made me feel a little bit uncomfortable, a little stretch, but still a good stretch. And then I would settle on that amount, own it, and welcome that kind of rain. And the fourth and final way that I really made a huge shift towards freedom from my inner obstacles was to hand back the known and unknown burdens that I had inherited from my family's bloodline. And this connects into systemic coaching, family constellation work. And this is about consciously intending that any known or unknown burdens that I was carrying, to say these words, and I used to do this as I was going to sleep and coach myself through this, as well as attending some actual family constellations run by a friend and colleague of mine, Dr. Pam Rue, and working to literally hand back the known and unknown burdens to my bloodline. This made a significant shift in terms of my ability to take ownership of my financial reality and to improve it. So other than freeing myself from inner obstacles and really working there, now I was ready to work on the outer obstacles. And the first thing that had to change was freeing myself from selling hours. Selling hours is a mindset. And I didn't realize that I actually had that mindset until I coached myself one January. I was on holiday and I did a bit of a tune-in, asked my wisdom to help me to take my business to the next level that year. And in my inner meditation, self-coaching work, I had this image in my mind of a piece of cardboard. And the question arose, which was, how much is this piece of cardboard, this piece of paper worth? And I thought, well, that's an odd thing, but very little, right? It's cheap. It's a piece of paper. And then in my mind's eye, the paper turned around and there was Nelson Mandela's handprint and signature on the other side of the paper. And then the question was, well, how much is it worth now? And this, I get goosebumps thinking about it, but this just was like this, I was being asked, I think, to question my idea of what I thought was value. What is real value? And from that year, from that January, I started really asking myself to stop the idea of selling hours and to think about, how do I instead give more value to my clients and then charge accordingly? And I've always had a give to grow philosophy. Back to an apple tree gives to grow and grows to give. It feels good, it feels right, it belongs to my sense of self and purpose. But just because we are generous doesn't mean we should chase the rain clouds. And selling hours is limiting. So instead, sell the following. Number one, realize that we don't sell coaching, that we sell the dream destination. Where do we want to take people, and where can our skills and tools take people? Okay, so obviously we need amazing master level skills, and we need really amazing, brilliant tools to be able to deliver on this. And then when we have that, where can we take people? That dream destination is the actual value, not the hours. It's the destination. And a lot of coaches that I've guided and mentored over the years, from executive coaches, business coaches, Enneagram, life coaches, wellness coaches, etc., when they make the switch and they realize, oh my word, I'm not selling hours, I'm selling a destination, I'm selling change, I'm selling meaningful change, then you ask yourself, how much is that worth? The other thing I also suggest, which my inner wisdom helped me with, is think about the intangible value of the dream destination in terms of tangible items. Like, what would I swap to have that dream destination? Maybe I would downgrade a car. Maybe I would downgrade my home. Maybe I would get rid of my garden furniture, right? So then you start seeing that the dream destination has actual tangible value. The second thing, of course, is to be a bit obsessed with adding value. I call it serving at the highest. I became obsessed with how can I bring more. I wanted to serve. Every apple tree serves life to its highest. It can't help it. We love doing our best. And that means looking for, how do I keep upping the level of delivery? And that does mean switching from me, what I love to do, what I believe, the product I like, to, hang on, the person in front of me, you. What do you need? What is your biggest area of struggle and suffering? And we don't have to choose one or the other. There is a sweet spot. There's a meeting place for both. It's the apple tree bringing its gifts to the world to serve. It's we make the difference we are born to make by being all we were born to be. And then the third aha insight, I believe, is to switch from what I call selling bronze products to silver and gold. So picture an apple tree. And imagine that at the highest branches of the apple tree are gold apples, and there's just a few of them. Then picture that in the middle of the apple tree are lots of silver apples. And at the bottom of the apple tree, the lowest hanging fruit, are many, many, many bronze apples. Your business model, yes, business model, should probably consider, at least this really worked for me, and I hope it will work for you too. And I've seen it work a lot for the coaches that I have served over the years. We tend to think of only selling hours, and that's a bronze level product. So what a bronze product is, what like a bronze apple is, it means we have to sell many of them every month to have a healthy business. Probably, 30 plus new clients. And if you're selling hours, that's going to be the trap. Because every month you need to find another 20, another 30, another 30. And that's, if I might say, almost impossible. And a lot of folks give up their dreams of becoming a coach because when they realize, hey, I can't make this viable, I can't pay the bills, then they really struggle. I believe that, at least for many of the people that I've served and worked with, that silver band is the sweet spot. And the silver band means that you work out how to create a product that is valuable enough that you only need approximately 10 clients every few months, and that you're taking people on a longer journey, which means that you're impacting their lives, you're delivering more value, you're taking them to the dream destination, because 1 hour ain't going to do it, right? And all coaches who really stick with this and have earned their stripes, so is it battle stripes or stripes, earn their stripes by being in the fire of serving at the highest. We all know that the real inner obstacles show up for clients. Session 3, 4, 5, 6. That the first 1 or 2 sessions are usually a lot of love, light, and rainbows, or at the very least, often setting goals and aspirations, perhaps doing a bit of inner work. But it takes trust, and it takes rapport, and it takes real connection to your client and real skills and real tools to get to the real work, which is the inner work that they need when they're going to hit the wall, when they're going to bump into those inner obstacles. And that means a 3 to 6 month journey with a client is going to really be more meaningful for them. And packaging it as a silver product, fantastic. What are gold products, you might wonder? I do think we have to earn our way to that. It takes a bit of time. My example of gold products in my world and in my business are selling licenses, selling wisdom partner licenses, so that I have a core group of trusted clients that share in resources, that share in my IP and the assets that I've spent 30 years building. And so gold products are usually those products that you may only need to sell perhaps even one a month or every 2 or 3 months in order to have a healthy business. Now, if you're saying, Cole, do we have to pick? No. You may have a business model that has all three. I like to give the bronze products away for free. Even the social media content and a lot of my free courses I think of as bronze products. I treat them with the same respect, to give to grow and grow to give. And I then focus my business model on silver and gold. And it works really well for me. So after working on inner obstacles, breaking free of selling hours, building a silver, gold-focused business model, what's the third one? This was a surprise to me as well. It's realizing that a coach, a trainer, a facilitator, a consultant is not just those things. I needed to own that I was an entrepreneur. We don't think of it. Sometimes we'll even soften it with the language solopreneur. But if we're running a business, whether it's very small or whether it's bigger, we're still entrepreneurs. We're still founders. We're still business owners. And I think it's helpful. It certainly has helped me to own that and to remove the wall in my mind that said, oh no, I'm not that. To realize that not only can I call rain for my apple tree and actually be the custodian of that rain, but once that abundance starts to flow, is to realize that I am also responsible for abundance. That as I walk up towards a higher summit of financial reality, that there is a certain gift, for sure. There's a lot of freedom, but there's also a kind of responsibility to that. And I like the word custodian. Realizing that running a business and seeing my coaching business and my training business, InnerLifeSkills, seeing it the same way, with the same love that I feel towards my veggie garden, true. And I also love painting. I'm also an artist. I have many expressions. And the satisfaction of putting in time and efforts to make something that I love, the switch was, a business can be that. A business can be a creation. It can be like art. It can be like a food garden. And we can feed it so that it feeds us.